before we immediately jump into making video programs, let's go over some principles on how communication actually works. We cannot just say, well, this is just my taste in making programs, and you have your taste. No, I think there are some general principles, and it's really helpful to consider them. Let's go over some of them. The first principle is about what the relationship is between the content and the atmosphere of our programs. With content, we mean what is the primary message we are trying to bring across? What facts are we trying to communicate? With atmosphere, we mean what is the emotional bedding of our program? Is it happy? Is it very serious, somber, or light? Many things can influence this atmosphere. The use of humor, the character of the presenter, the design of the studio set, the colors used in the graphics, the music we have chosen, and so on. So on one hand we see the message, and on the other we see the atmosphere, the mood if you like. What is the relationship between the two? Communication is like a stick of dynamite. In the center there is the explosives. The explosive material by itself is dangerous. If you handle it wrongly, it could explode in your hand. So by itself, it's unusable. But through trial and error, they discovered that if you surround the explosive with a layer of chemicals that supplement those explosives, it becomes perfectly safe. Now people could handle it, and it multiplied the practical use of dynamite. I think we see the same in communication. In the middle there is the message. In our case, it's often the message from our Creator to His creation. That is what motivates us Christians to be in the media. We have something to tell. It is big, it's powerful, and, like dynamite, it has the power to move mountains. But to handle it, it needs to be surrounded by an atmosphere. Together it works. Separately, it's hard to handle. For instance, an advertisement for a drink has a very limited message. This is a nice drink. But it's surrounded by a lot of atmosphere. A small party where everybody is having a nice time because they drink this new drink. Maybe that's the way it would be presented in, let's say, Norway. But in Italy it would be a whole village dancing ecstatically in the street with fireworks in the sky because they drink this new drink. How much atmosphere you need to add to a message, that depends on the type of message and the culture. We see this also in the Bible. When the law was given, it was in a big mountain, surrounded by smoke, lightning, and loud thunder everywhere. When Jesus gave his Sermon on the Mount, where he said, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth," it was on a nice hill, birds in the sky, grass to sit on. If you would change those two atmospheres around, the law while everybody was sitting peacefully in the grass, and the Sermon on the Mount in the middle of thunder and lightning, it just would not work. Those two messages would be wrongly understood. Jesus is a master in the art of setting things in a correct atmosphere, with the use of examples, stories, exploiting all kinds of situations to bring his point across. So a key to good communication is to build the right atmosphere or mood for the right message. This is a main skill to be mastered, for instance, if you want to be a filmmaker or a documentary maker. What are great mood makers? There are the elements that we mentioned before. Music is a powerful one. Certain lighting can create a certain mood. The location or the studio design, even the use of colors, the speed of switching between camera angles, the use of tension or humor in what is spoken. It all builds to a certain atmosphere. But is it the atmosphere, the mood, that enhances or distracts? Let's look at some examples. Here we see a talk show with people sitting across each other. Can you guess what the show is about? You guessed it, it's about politics. The fact that they are sitting far away from each other indicates that they are talking about a general topic, and not a topic that touches them personally. This is a very different setting. People are sitting a lot closer to each other and the whole atmosphere is much more personal. You can sense that they are talking about deep and personal matters. We have to realize that a message presented without a correct atmosphere does not communicate much. If you have only the atmosphere and no matching message, you also have an empty shell. It is the combination of the two that makes communication work. The danger is that we as program makers are out of balance. Okay, let's practice. Look at some programs and try to determine what elements are the mood makers. And, if possible, let's look at some of your own programs and discuss, become aware what is making that atmosphere and does it fit the content.